This is Dave with NAPCO Tech Support. Today we will be discussing lockdown control, lockdown areas, and threat levels and air access. Please feel free to pause the video at any time if it makes it easier to follow along. The lockdown control and air access allows you two separate functions. The first function is to remove doors from passage mode, and the second function is to restrict the access of pin holders and badge holders. Creating lockdown areas allows you to remove locks from passage mode, and threat levels allows you to restrict access to badge holders and pin holders. Before we get started, it is important to note that there is an order that must be followed here. Your lockdown control will be empty until you have locks assigned to a lockdown area, and your threat level will remain empty until you assign an active category to a badge holder or pin holder, and in order to do that, you would have to first assign a lock to a lockdown area and assign that lockdown area to a threat level. I understand it sounds a little confusing, but I'll explain it to you in detail. Here I've created this mock-up floor plan that we can design our lockdown around. We have one front door, one back door, one hall door, and one office door. We will create different lockdown areas and different threat levels for each of our areas. We will create one lockdown area that will lock both the front and back door, one to lock the hall door, one to lock the office door, and finally, one that will lock all the doors. Since lockdown areas are the first thing we have to create, let's start with that. Hover over Access and click on Lockdown Areas. To add a new lockdown area, click on the Add button. A new screen will come up that will allow you to select the locks you want in that lockdown area. I'm going to choose the first and fourth locks to represent the front door on my floor plan and the back door. When I activate this lockdown area, it will take these two doors out of passage mode. I will name it Front and Back Doors and save. You can see when I now click on Lockdown Control, I have my front and back doors listed here. And if I click on Activate, it'll remove those locks from passage mode. When you activate it, you will get a screen that will show you the process is executing, and eventually the status will change to success. If I go back to Lockdown Control, I now have the option to deactivate the lockdown and putting the doors back to their normal state regulated by their schedule, if there is one. I will quickly make the other lockdown areas for the other doors. Now that I have made all my lockdown areas, if we go back to lockdown control, you will see that all my areas are now there. Now we need to make some threat levels. To create a threat level, you will hover over Administration and then click on Threat Level Management. By default, there are 5 threat levels already created. We are going to modify them to work for our purpose. You can edit a threat level by double-clicking on it, or by single-clicking on it to select it, and then clicking Edit. Here we can modify the description, assign a lockdown area, and assign a category. You can also rename the categories too. I'm going to make this threat level associated with the front and back doors, so I will change its name and assign that lockdown area to it. I'm also going to change the category name to match it so I know what category is assigned to which lockdown area. If you have a lot of these you are doing, it's best to change these names here so you don't have to keep bouncing back and forth to remember what they all are assigned to. Don't forget to choose whether to allow access or deny access when the threat level is activated. After you are finished, click Save and it will take you back to the threat level management list. I'm going to quickly create the other threat levels. You can see here as I go, I am modifying the category names. You can create a variety of combinations between lockdown levels, threat levels, and categories to restrict movement throughout a building. I'm just keeping it simple for this demonstration. Now that I have threat levels created, we must assign personnel to the different categories so they can be restricted when the threat levels are activated. To get to the personnel, hover over Access, then click on Personnel. When you are at your personnel list, you can double-click on the personnel you wish to modify, or single-click to select and then click Edit. When the personnel information opens, click on the Control tab. Here, you will see the names we changed the categories to show in this area. This is where we can select what doors this card holder will not be able to access when the threat level is triggered. I can choose that it only is restricted when I activate all doors, or I can cherry pick which threat levels restrict this card holder. In this case, I've chosen to only restrict this card holder when the office door threat level is triggered and when the all doors threat level is triggered. If we now go over to the lockdown control, you will see all the lockdown areas on the left and all the threat levels on the right. It is important to note that if you trigger a lockdown event, that will take the doors out of passage mode and it will not restrict the badge holders and pin holders. But if you trigger the threat level, it will both remove passage mode and restrict badge holders and pin holders. This is just a demonstration on how to do this on a small building, but you can use these same methods to restrict access across multiple floors, multiple buildings, or in the case of these locks for this demonstration, each lock is located in a different state. So with just a little imagination, you can see the combinations you can create with this. If you need more videos on air access, or even if you just need documents for an alarm lock or NAPCO device, head over to our tech library at tech.napcosecurity.com.